The roar of the custom garage had faded into an uneasy silence as the massive Harley sat under the bright lights, unmoving and stubborn, like a king refusing to surrender its throne. The motorcycle, valued at $1.5 million, was more than metal and machinery. It was a masterpiece of engineering, handcrafted with rare components, advanced performance systems, and custom modifications that made it unlike any other bike in the world. It belonged to a respected Hells Angels biker whose reputation was built on strength, loyalty, and precision. And when the machine suddenly failed, it became a matter of pride for everyone involved. 50 experienced mechanics had gathered over the past weeks, each bringing their knowledge, certifications, and years of hands-on experience. Yet none could solve the problem. Some believed it was an electrical malfunction, others suspected fuel system complications, and a few argued that the issue lay deep within the engine's custom software integration. Advanced diagnostic machines were connected and reconnected repeatedly. Expensive parts were replaced with brand new components, and every possible angle was tested, but the engine remained silent, refusing to start as if guarding a secret no one could uncover. The atmosphere inside the garage grew heavier each day, filled with frustration, whispered debates, and the quiet embarrassment of professionals who were used to solving even the most complex mechanical challenges. The biker stood nearby throughout the process, calm but observant, watching as experts worked tirelessly around his prized possession, his expression revealing little yet reflecting deep disappointment. He trusted the best in the field, yet trust alone could not revive the dormant engine. As time passed, confidence in the room began to weaken, and even the most experienced mechanics started to admit that they might be facing something beyond their understanding. Technical discussions became more uncertain, tools were set down more often, and solutions grew thinner with each attempt. The custom wiring layout, the enhanced performance modules, and the modified ignition sequence created a system that required not just strength or routine repairs, but careful analysis and patience. Despite their efforts, the machine's silence seemed almost intentional, challenging everyone who tried to tame it. Then, amid the tension and quiet defeat, a young mechanic who had mostly remained in the background stepped forward. He was a newcomer to the garage, lacking the years of experience displayed by the others, and his presence had gone largely unnoticed during the long meetings and technical debates. While senior mechanics spoke confidently about their theories, he observed carefully, studying the bike from a distance, taking mental notes, and analyzing patterns without interrupting. When he finally asked for permission to inspect the engine, his voice was steady but respectful, and the room briefly fell silent at the suggestion that someone so inexperienced might attempt what dozens had failed to accomplish. Some exchanged skeptical looks, questioning whether a rookie could truly make a difference where 50 professionals had struggled. However, the biker, curious rather than dismissive, gave a simple nod of approval, allowing the young mechanic to approach the legendary machine. The rookie walked toward the Harley with calm determination, aware of the weight of expectations but undeterred by doubt, ready to examine the problem with fresh eyes rather than assumptions shaped by frustration. In that moment, the energy inside the garage shifted slightly, as though the possibility of a new perspective had entered the room, and all eyes followed him to see whether he would confirm the failure or uncover something everyone else had missed. The garage was still crowded when the rookie knelt beside the silent Harley, aware that every movement he made was being watched. The air carried a mixture of skepticism and curiosity, because no one expected the youngest member of the team to succeed where 50 seasoned mechanics had failed. He did not rush. Instead, he placed his tools neatly on the floor and began with a simple visual inspection, running his eyes along the frame, tracing the wiring harness, and studying the custom modifications that made this motorcycle unique. Unlike the others, he focused less on replacing parts and more on understanding the system as a whole. He noticed that the engine was not suffering from visible damage or mechanical wear. Rather, it appeared to be locked by a configuration imbalance within the advanced ignition module. The bike's custom performance chip had been integrated with a high-level security protocol, designed to protect its rare components, but it seemed to have triggered a safety override that prevented the engine from starting. While the senior mechanics had concentrated on fuel lines, spark plugs, and battery strength, the rookie suspected the problem was digital rather than mechanical. Calmly, He requested the diagnostic laptop once more and connected it to the motorcycle's internal control unit. His fingers moved steadily across the keyboard as he reviewed the error logs, carefully reading the system codes line by line. The screen revealed minor inconsistencies in sensor calibration, especially within the throttle position and fuel injection timing modules. These small discrepancies, though seemingly insignificant, were enough to prevent the engine from completing its startup sequence. The rookie realized that instead of forcing the machine apart, he needed to realign its internal communication. He adjusted the software parameters, recalibrated the sensors, and updated the synchronization settings to match the manufacturer's core specifications. Each modification was done with patience, double-checking every entry to avoid further imbalance. The experienced mechanics gathered behind him, some crossing their arms, others leaning forward to observe closely. A few quietly admitted that his method was different from theirs, but none interrupted. The biker stood at a distance, his expression unreadable, though his attention was fixed on the young technician's hands. After several minutes of careful adjustments, the rookie disconnected the laptop and performed a final manual inspection to ensure that no loose connections remained. He tightened one minor cable that had been slightly misaligned and checked the battery stability one last time. Then, taking a slow breath, he looked toward the owner and gave a respectful nod, signaling that the system was ready for testing. The garage grew completely silent as everyone waited. The rookie inserted the key, and for a brief second, nothing happened. The tension felt heavier than before, and even the smallest sound could be heard clearly. He pressed the ignition. Suddenly, the engine responded with a deep vibration that quickly transformed into a powerful roar, filling the entire space with energy. The sound echoed off the walls, smooth and confident, proving that the machine had not been broken beyond repair. The mechanics stepped back in surprise, realizing that the issue had not required massive reconstruction, but precise understanding. The biker slowly approached the revived Harley, listening carefully to the steady rhythm of the engine, then turned to the rookie. Without saying much, he extended his hand in respect. The room, once filled with doubt, now carried admiration. The young mechanic had demonstrated that experience alone is not always the key to success. Sometimes fresh observation, patience, and a willingness to look deeper can solve problems that others overlook. From that moment forward, the garage recognized that innovation and humility could work together, and the rookie's name became associated not with inexperience, but with insight and determination.